We got a camper! I don't quite understand why we got a camper, but we have one. So today I'm going to show you us working on the wheel bearings and making sure that they're okay for us to go on some trips. But before we start pulling stuff apart, we need to make sure the suspension is all tight. That's good. Those are all good. That's everything on this side. Now to check the other. Okay, that's tight. I can get that, which means it's time to jack up the camper.
Alright, to get these caps off without damaging them, I'm going to get a thin screwdriver and just get it in here and just get it barely started all the way around. And work your way up to the next screwdriver size. Just tap it in just a little bit. And the next size. You get this size in, you should be able to carefully start working your way around. Carefully pry it out. If you're replacing the caps, you can just damage them all you want. I'm going to take our cotter pin out, paying close attention to where it was landed before to make sure it doesn't want to rub against the cap. Straighten it out. I like to use a pair of side cutters because you can get in really close, make small adjustments. You use a little hammer then, straighten it out a little more. Side cutters, and you can carefully grab it. This is something you'll want to replace, but for this video we're not going to replace them. We're going to be doing something else with this in a little bit. And to loosen your nut, ideally you can use a socket on it, but wrench will work fine, pair of pliers will work fine. Okay, once that's off, carefully lift up on your hub assembly. Look it towards you. And you want to make sure you catch your washer and your outer bearing. And we're going to want to clean this off. Inspect our spindle and any dirt off the rear seal area. Make sure the spindle is still bolted tight to the axle. You can adjust your brakes now, or since these already have the knockout opened up, you can adjust them in place. We're just going to adjust them in place. Wipe our dirt off the back seal here. These wheel bearings were just done a couple years ago and the trailer wasn't driven much, but it's always good to check it out. So there's no major wear in here. A little grease in there. And we'll take our outer bearing. Since this one's really easy to repack, it gets the most wear. Check it, make sure it's good. Oh, it looks pretty good. I'm just going to quickly repack it by hand. Grease coming out, that's good. So get it all repacked. Take some extra grease here, put it in the front of the bearing, kind of like that. Hold that up, put it on, slide it in. We can put our washer back on, nut on. It's a greasy, dirty job most people don't want to do. If you're one of those people, you just want to do it. I also recommend wearing gloves too, because it probably has some sort of proposition warning, especially if you live in the California area. Tighten it down until we have a little bit of restriction. We'll back it off the next flat. Cotter pin back in. Not much end plate, that's good. Just carefully bend it back into place where it needs to go. Tap it back in with the plastic hammer. Clean off the rest of the grease, or just leave it. It doesn't really matter. Just just camper. All right, now we're gonna check the emergency brake cutoff switch. This is battery powered. Switch is right here. So this gets tied to your vehicle. Always make sure you're supposed to tie this on the correct way. It's not supposed to be tied attached to your chains or anything. It's supposed to be tied attached to the ball or to your vehicle. So in an emergency, if your trailer would come unhinged from the hitch, or if it would break the chains at the same time and come completely loose, this would activate the brakes on the trailer. It would pull out of here and it closes this switch. This is battery powered, so you gotta make sure your battery's good. You gotta make sure it's wired up, and it's something you're supposed to check your trailer ideally every trip. Most times once a year is usually good. So I'm gonna pull the switch out and the brakes should activate.
Alright guys, thanks for watching the video on this camper. We'll have some more videos out about it soon.